one just kind of is the introduction to linear functions and graphing linear functions and everything else. Okay, a linear function. Just tell me what you know. If you have a linear function, the graph of it makes a what? A line. Linear means it makes a line, right? Right? Okay, so when I graph my points on a linear function, they should line up and make a straight line. All right? Now, this is not on your quiz today. It's something new. Okay? It will be on your test Friday, but not on your quiz today. So, a function is basically a set of inputs and outputs. All right? So, what they really give us is something called a rule for a function, which is just the equation. They have x's and y's in them most of the time. All right? And then they give us something called a domain. Now, we learned that a domain is what values? X values. All right? So, they give us a domain here, and we have to come up with the range, which is the what? Y values, and then we'll graph the ordered pairs on the graph, and they should line up and make a straight line. Okay? So, how do you think we get Y values?
We plug the X values into the equation.
Yes, you plug them into the original equation. So it says Y equals X plus 4. Let me get me a red pen. So if I want to find the Y value when X is negative 5, Y equals negative 5 plus 4, right? And what is negative 5 plus 4? Negative 1. So you just stick a negative 1 in for that Y value. Y'all with me? All right. And so I'm just going to do a few of them on the screen. I'm not going to plug all of them in on the screen because I think we can do basic math, hopefully, or we wouldn't be in this class. The next one, I plug in negative 4 for X. So what is negative 4 plus 4? 0. And then I plug in what for X? Negative 2. What's negative 2 plus 4? Positive 2. And then I plug in 0 for X. And what is 0 plus 4? 4. So 0, 4 is my last ordered pair. Okay? So any questions about how I got our Y values? So that is called the what? Range. X is your domain, Y's are the range. And then you graph the ordered pairs. And when I graph the ordered pairs, they should line up and make a straight line. So I'm going to go left 5, down 1, right? 3, 4, 5, down 1. So my first point is about right. Whoops, I'm trying to write it. It won't let me. It will not let me. There you go. And then negative 4, 0 is on the x-axis, right? And then left 2, up 2. And then 0, up 4. Those line on straight line? Yeah, and always put arrows on your lines because they will go forever. So this is basically the most basic way to graph a line is by plugging in X values, getting Y values, and graphing your ordered pairs. Okay? It sure is. It sure is. All right, number 2. Now, what do we see that's crazy on number 2? There's a fraction. Are we afraid of that? Okay, we need a fraction quiz today too then, right? Okay, so we're not afraid of that fraction, are we? All right, especially I'm not afraid of that fraction because look at my domain. What's my denominator? 4. 4. And y'all, don't we always do top times big divided by the bottom? Yeah. Right? And look at all my domain. They're all divisible by 4. Y'all see that? Mm-hmm. So when I multiply times 3/4, I'm going to get whole numbers. Okay? Yeah. So if your domain is all divisible by your denominator, you're going to get whole numbers, so there's no sense to worry about it. All right? And that's another way you can check yourself. Check yourself as you know they're all going to come out to be whole numbers after you multiply. All right? So first, 3/4 times negative 4. That's the first one. 3/4 times negative 4, and I'll go ahead and write minus 2. Top times big divided by the bottom. What's 3 times negative 4?
Negative 12.
Divided by 4 is?
Negative 3.
And what's negative 3 minus 2?
Negative 5.
Negative 5. Y'all see how I got that? This thing is not wanting to read my pen today. All right, then we can plug in 0, and life is easy. 3/4 times 0 is what? 0. What's 0 minus 2? 0 minus 2. Now we're doing, y'all see that, y'all pick up that we're doing order of operations, multiplying and subtracting, right? All right, now this one's gonna look like this one, but it's 3/4 times positive 4. Right? Top times big divided by bottom. 3 times 4 is 12 divided by 4 is 3. 3 minus 2 is 1. Okay, and then we multiply 3/4 times 8. What's 3 times 8? Divided by 4, 6. And 6 minus 2 is 4. So any questions? So it's really not that bad with that fraction, is it? Just basic math. All right, then you graph it and they should do what? They should make a straight line. So left 4 down 5, 0 down 2. Now they might be spread out, and that last one's not even on my graph, is it? No, so we're not even going to worry about that one. They didn't make space for it, so apparently they don't need it, right? And we don't need it because if I could draw a straight line, they would all match up. Miss Isabel needs a ruler. I almost hit that last point good. I do have a ruler. What am I thinking? Okay. So there you go. So yeah, don't freak out that fraction, especially if your domain are all divisible by your denominator. You know, they're going to come out to be whole numbers. Right? So any questions on number 2? All right. Number 3. Oh, this one's so easy. So easy. Y equals 3x. So how are we going to get our y values? You just multiply your x's times 3, aren't we? All right, so y'all help me fill out the table. What's negative 2 times 3? Negative 6. What's negative 1 times 3? What is 3 times 0? 0. What is 3 times 1? 3. That was very painless, wasn't it? I'm sorry. Would you want something harder on a Monday morning? Okay, I'll make sure next time I might have a really hard lesson on Monday morning. I really didn't have a choice. This is just where it fell in the notes, okay? This just happens to be Unit 2, Day 3, and it just happens to be a Monday. So I really did not. Look, Miss Isabel made a mistake. What did Miss Isabel do?
You went all the way to
Yeah, that's negative 2, negative 6. That means I'm down in quadrant 3, right? Yeah. Left 1 down 3. 0, 0. And then that's what I get for trying to pick on y'all a little bit on a Monday when I hadn't had but 3 sips of coffee. Okay. I don't want to do it. Stupid thing. All right, computer. I can't use my ruler because it like reads the touch screen on my ruler and won't let me use my pen at the same time. Ugh. Don't laugh at me. It's okay. Oh, there we go. Looky there. Just make sure you put arrows on it. That's a pet peeve of mine. Lines need arrows. They go forever. All right. Any questions on number 3? That one was as simple as it could be, right? All right, number 4. Woohoo, number 4. Look at that. Are all my x values divisible by my denominator? Yeah, so what does that tell me? That means when I multiply, I'm going to get whole numbers. So we ain't going to cry about this, are we? There's no crying in math class. Actually, there is. Done it before. All right. So negative 3 over 2 times negative 2 plus 2. All right, so we know a negative times a negative is going to be a positive, right? All right, so 3 times 2 is, divided by 2 is, 3 plus 2 is 5. Y'all okay with that? All right, so now let's do 0 and life's easy. Negative 3 over 2 times 0 is what? 0 plus 2 is 2. Okay, and this one's positive 2. So that's going to be a negative times a positive is going to be a negative when I multiply. Yeah. So 6 divided by 2 is? 3. So it's negative 3 plus 2 is what? Negative 1. And then I plug in positive 4. Negative 3 times 4 is, divided by 2 is, and what's negative 6 plus 2? Negative 4. Is that so bad? No, not so bad. And what should happen when I graph them? Yeah, so left 2, up 5, 0, 2, 2, negative 1, and 4, negative 4. And I think those do. Oh, yeah. It's really nice that your teacher gave you a handout instead of make you graph all these things by hand. Right. Just making sure y'all were grateful. Probably so. All right, we good with that? So we're not going to freak out with fractions, especially when it's divisible by the denominator, right? Okay. Okay. Now, look at number 5. Now, people actually mess up on problems like number 5. Why do you think people mess up on problems like number 5? Yeah, because that negative in front of that x is the same thing as saying negative 1 times x. So if it helps you out, stick a 1 right there between the negative and the x, because you're multiplying your x's times negative 1. Okay? So it's negative 1 times your x. All right? It's negative 1 times your x. So, for example, it's going to be negative 1 times, my pen is really not working with me today. So it's negative 1 times negative 3 plus 1. Do y'all see that? What's negative 1 times negative 3? Positive 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay? Then it's negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1, which is 1 plus 1 is 2. Sorry. Come on, Miss Isbell, get with it. 2. And then multiply times 0, life is easy. What's negative 1 times 0? And 0 plus 1 is 1. And then what's negative 1 times positive 4? Negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. See, look, we haven't even touched our calculators today. All right, basic math. Basic math. So any questions about how we got that table? All right, y'all graph it for me. And what better happened to my points? They should all make a straight line. That's how you know if you're doing this right. Was that my door knocking? Okay, good. Yeah, these are kind of spread out, and that's okay, as long as they line up in a line, okay? See how these are close together, and then there's some that's spread out? That's okay. Okay, and that's just because our x's are spread out, right? These x's are closer together, and that one's kind of far back. So it's okay if they're spread out, as long as they still make a straight line. I'm trying to draw my line. I gotta figure out how to make this touch screen not so touchy. It's a little touchy. Stop. Okay. Y'all see that one has a star above it? I want y'all to try it. I want you to try it without your calculator. So you got some paper space like kind of around that problem, right? Some white space on your paper. I want you to try it without your calculator. Keep in mind that's a negative 1/3 x. That might help a little. And all your x's are divisible by 3, so there you go. You shouldn't have any decimals or fractions. Let me know if you get stuck.
There are multiple versions, so I would definitely recommend your Algebra on paper. It will be all busy for us.
There he is.
Gotta try. Gotta try. That's how we get good. It's practice. I'm not gonna play my piano in front of people until I practice, that's for sure. Not even at church. And you're supposed to love your brother. All right, y'all go ahead and check them with a neighbor. Maybe a neighbor can help you if you're missing out on something with your arithmetic. Yes. Yeah, I'm great that way. One. 1 minus 1/3 times. All right, y'all help me out. I kind of like wrote them all out, plugging them in, and except for the one with 0, because I figure we can do that one in our head, hopefully. So the first one, 1 minus 1/3 times -3. First of all, a negative times a negative is going to make a what? A positive, so it's going to be 1 plus a number, right? So let me get where I can see it down here. I'm a little too high. Okay, so -1 times -3 is, and 3 divided by 3 is, so this is the same thing as 1 plus 1, isn't it? Right? And 1 plus 1 is 2. So my first ordered pair is -3, 2. Y'all agree? Y'all see that one? All right.
Why wouldn't you multiply?
I did.
No, the one.
Because the variable's right here after the 1/3. You multiply by 1/3.
I couldn't. I mean, I put the in 1/3. I mean, I
You can't do that.
I did mine.
If you do that, you need to make it -1/3 and then plus 1.
Yeah, I did mine.
And you got it right.
-1/3 x plus 1.
Did you get it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You say I can't do that. I'm just,
Well, I mean, as long as you put a plus sign here. See, people mess it up when they do that. That's
it
why.
just made more sense.
Well, in Algebra 1, we don't do that anymore. We can work it like it's written. I mean, it's just a skill.
Can you swap them around without it help?
No, y'all. There's no sense in swapping stuff because here's what when people swap stuff, they miss it. You're in Algebra 1. You should be able to work a problem like it's written. Because some people can't say they'll change it and read it 1/3 x minus 1 instead. If you can get your signs right, I don't care. Quit arguing with me. If you can get your signs right, I don't care. But this is baby stuff, y'all. I know what we're going to in like a month. We won't have time to be swapping the order of problems to work on. Okay? This is baby stuff. We should be able to do this from like 7th grade up, if not lower. I mean, you've been multiplying a whole fraction times a whole number since like 4th grade. And that's legit. That's legit. All right. So, anyways, we plug in 0. Either way, order of operations, you're going to have to multiply first anyway, right? So I see what you're saying there. Because order of operations, we multiply before we add or subtract, right? Y'all know the order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, except I don't like that because it confuses people. All right? All right. So, what's -1/3 times 0? What's 1 minus 0? What's 1 minus 0, first graders?
Oh no, I got confused.
See, because people talking about swapping stuff. That's fine. All right, then I'm going to plug in 3, and I did that right here. What's -1/3 times 3? -1, right? 1 times 3 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And a positive times a negative is still negative. So 1 minus 1 is 0. Did y'all get that? All right. Then I plug in 6. What's 1/3 times 6? What's 1/3 times 6? Yeah, this is going to be -2. 1 times 6 is 6 divided by 3 is 2. It's 1 minus 2. Did y'all get that right? Y'all get that right? Yes or no? What's 1 minus 2? -1. Raise your hand if your ordered pairs are right. Okay. Y'all see how it is? 1 times 6 is 6. Divided by 3 is 2. Y'all have got to be able to multiply fractions, y'all. We're going to be doing stuff so much harder than this, and this is basic skills. Like I said, 4th grade. 4th grade. We're honors freshmen. I should be expecting you to know how to do something you learned 5 years ago. I mean, seriously. Left 3 up 2. 0 up 1. 3, 0. And 6 -1's kind of, oh, no, it's right there, isn't it? That goes to 6. I graphed one wrong, didn't I? It's too high, isn't it? I went up 3. All right, I saw a lot of people's lines that look like mine, so I assume those people had got it right. Right? When I was walking around, that's what I was kind of looking at. Was y'all's lines, because that would kind of tell me. Mine's scooting all over the place because it don't like my ruler because it thinks I'm trying to touch the screen. I'll just have a crooked line. Oh Lord, that's really bad. It's just jumping everywhere. Something like that. Raise your hand if yours looks prettier than mine, because it will. Okay, good. All right. So y'all, I think the only problem y'all are having is just multiplying times fractions. Y'all got to practice that. You've got to. I don't know if I'm just going to have to give y'all lots of assignments for fractions on it, or if I'm going to have to quiz you every day till you learn it. Okay, but you have got to. So you do it on your own, or I'm going to put some measures in place to ensure that we learn how to do them. All right. Turn to the back. On the back of our notes, we are doing the same thing except for there is no graph. Right? Right? And there's also no table. But what did they tell us? A domain. And what is a domain? The x values. Every time you hear the word domain, I want you to say x values. Okay? Domain is just x values. So it says, given the function and the domain, find the range values. What is a range? Y values. How do we get a range if we know a domain? We plug the x values into the equation, right? And that'll give us our y's. Okay. So this one's easy. Y equals x minus 5. So I'm going to say y equals, what's my first x value? 4. Minus 5. And what is 4 minus 5? Negative 1. So I'm just going to let that hang for a second and do the rest of them. What's my next value I plug in for x? 6. So y equals 6 minus 5. And what is 6 minus 5? 1. And then y equals, what goes in for x? 8 minus 5. And what is 8 minus 5? 3. Very good. Now, how do I list a range? Yeah, we do those little curly braces. And then how do I list them? Least to greatest. And this is a function, so it should not repeat. Well, that y's could repeat, but it's not going to unless it's a horizontal line. Negative 1, 1, 3 is my range. So you're just plugging them in. You're basically doing what you did with the table, except for you're just showing your algebra and listing the y's instead of in the table. Okay? Questions? All right. Number 8. Y equals 3x minus 1. And this time, how many numbers did they give you in the domain?
4.
They gave me 4, so you're going to have to plug it in 4 times. All right? Okay, can I just say something? There are side conversations happening in my classroom, and there's people on their phones. All of those I have witnessed in the last 2 minutes, and I'm tired of it. And that's all I'm going to say about it. That's everybody's warning. Okay, so what do we plug in first for x?
Y equals 3.
Yeah, 3 times negative 1 plus 1, right? So we just plug them in order, negative 1 first. And then order of operations. What's 3 times negative 1? Negative 3 plus 1 is what? Negative 2. All right, then what do I plug in for x? So y equals 3 times 0 plus 1. Order of operations, I multiply first. What's 3 times 0? 0 plus 1 is what? 1. Y equals 1. Is that okay with everybody? Am I going too fast? Okay, good.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Like, do we have to write the problem down? If we can do it.
No, I would rather see your work on the test. For sure. No work is no credit. No work is no credit on your practice today, too. If I want a list of answers, I'll just open the back of the textbook and read a list of answers. I want to see that you know some math. All right, so what do I plug in next for x? 1 plus 1. What's 3 times 1?
3,
Plus 1.
4,
And then last one I plug in is Sugarfoot.
4,
4. Y equals 3 times 4 plus 1. What is 3 times 4? 12 plus 1 is, yeah. And I'm kind of glad I'm not graphing that one because that would go off my graph probably. So what's my range?
-2,
1, 4, and 13. All right, any questions on how we got the range? That's it. You just plug them in. Do a little math. Number 9, we got a fraction. But we're not going to cry about it. Why? Yeah, because my domain is all divisible by my denominator, right? So that tells me what?
That they will be all.
They're going to come out to be whole numbers. All right. So y equals 3/5 times -10 plus 2. Top times big divided by the bottom, right? So multiply first. 3 times -10 is,
-30.
divided by 5 is -6. And then finish it out. What's -6 plus 2? -4. Was that so bad? No. Then I plug in 0 and life is easy for a second. 3/5 times 0 plus 2. What's 3/5 times 0? 0 plus 2 is what? 2. And then I just plug in a little old 5. Y equals 3/5 times 5 plus 2. Can I show you a trick? Can I show you a trick? Now, yeah, y'all already know the top times big divided by bottom. So we know 3 times 5 is 15 divided by 5 is 30, right? Y'all see a little pattern here? When these are the same, it's like they cancel out. Because if I had a 1 underneath it, wouldn't they like cancel diagonally? Right? So if I look at these and just cancel the 5s, it's 3. Y'all see that? Yeah. So there you go. So 3 plus 2 is 5. Now that only works when these are the same, right? Your big number and your denominator are the same. Because 5 divided by 5 is 1, right? So that's nice. So what's my range? -425. Very good. All right. I have a star by number 10. What does that mean? Y'all try it. Are we crying over this one? Why not? Oh, these are divisible by 3. And it has fractions. If we cry over fractions, Miss Isabel makes us do them a lot. And y'all don't want to, apparently. You need to. That's how you get good at something, is practicing. Let me know if you get stuck.
Well, there everybody needs it. We'll have to graph like this.
Yeah, you did on the front side.
I'm talking about like, just like this.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. It's all related. So it could happen. But y'all know that this is not the best way to graph a line, right? The best way to graph a line is slope-intercept form, right? So this is just kind of like practice to kind of build us up to that. This is like our first little intro on linear functions. So it's coming, it's not today. All right, some of you have your range already, so I want y'all to check them with each other. Your neighbor is stuck, help them out. I'm gonna go ahead and plug them in.
You got two? Yes. You got, I'll put it on.
Oh, you can do your trick on one of them. There you go. 8 plus 9 is 17. 4 plus 9 is 13. 17. Yeah. Right. Look at you. Yeah. Totally. Don't work, no credit, buddy. I don't know if it's your work or somebody else's.
I just do it in my head.
Look, I have to prove what I know all the time. And when you get to geometry, you have to show everything you know. So you might as well get in the habit of it now. I have to come in here every day and present a lesson, but sometimes I still have to type out my lesson plan and say what I'm going to say, even though I said it. I mean, seriously. Good Lord. That's part of work. You got to be able to communicate what you know on paper. It's not, people don't know you know it. They're going to think you copied from your neighbor. You replicated somebody else's work. All right. So I saw some correct answers as I was strolling around. Good job. So y'all just help me. What is negative 2/3 times negative 12? What's the whole fraction times negative 12? Positive 8. And 8 plus 9 is 17. Good job. What is negative 2/3 times negative 6? Positive 4 plus 9 is 13. Very good. All right, y'all can do that little cancel out trick, right? Right, so y equals negative 2/3, or sorry, negative 2 plus 9, which is 7. And for the range, you got to go backwards because it's least to greatest, 7, 13, 17. Raise your hand if you got that correct range. All right, any questions about either doing the table with the graphing or plugging in and doing the word papers? All right, that is the end of notes for today. I'm going to stop my video right here.